Okay guys, welcome to another Ask Zenler. So in this lecture I want to say first of all about a warning. What we're about to do we at Zenler offer no support for, because what we're doing is we're changing CSS for your page, and per page you can set CSS. Now what is CSS? It's a way of globally changing the style or attribute of certain elements in your website. For instance, I have a logo over here that's built with the dynamic block, and there's no way to change this logo size, so I'm going to use CSS to override it. Now you can learn, there's lots of things online about using CSS, so do a little bit of research. Be very careful, because you can have issues with responsiveness of your site due to CSS code you put in there. So we at Zenler, because CSS is a general thing like JavaScript, ASP, PHP, we don't offer support with that. You need to solve those solutions, because this is more of an advanced technique, okay? But I'll show you how to simply do it for little things, and then build your confidence up and get more used to using CSS. So let's make this logo bigger. So how do we do it? So I've got the site up in an incognito window. I've got it in an incognito window because if I log in, and I am logged in, I have a different members page. I have a different home page come up when I'm logged in. So I want to show the actual front page. Okay, so how do we change the logo, for instance? Well, what we're doing is we're targeting classes or IDs inside the code in Zenler. Now Zenler has all of the elements have certain classes or IDs assigned to them, and these can be targeted through CSS, and changes can be made. So let me demonstrate this to you. I'm going to use Inspector, which comes with most browsers. I'm using Chrome in this case, but most browsers allow you to inspect the code or the CSS. Just check your particular browser to where that is. So I'm using Chrome. I'm going to right hand click here, and I'm going to go down to Inspect. What that's going to do is allow me, if I click here, to come over these elements and just inspect them. So I'm going to click once, and you're going to see down here that I have a field come up. Now if I change this max height and I change it to something like 100, you're going to see straight away that it changes in my page. So this is CSS for this. So if I take this CSS code and I copy it, okay, with that change, I'll put it back to what it was before, so you can see that the change is actually working. So remember, I've copied it with 100. So let's put it back to 50. There we go. And I'll close that down. So now I'm going to jump into my site admin with that code copied, okay? And I'm going to go into the page, in this case my home page, okay? So I'm in that page. I'm going to go down here to page settings, and you're going to see an area called page CSS. Now you can close this up and down if you're dealing with lots of code. You can also see there's a header includes, where you can put header information such as any code you've got and you'd like to put in the header, such as Google Analytics. So I'm going to go in here, I'm going to press Control V, okay? So that code has now been put in there. So I'm overriding the CSS, the page, the default page CSS. I'm overriding it with this page. Now one important aspect to remember is just to change this end part where there's a semicolon, and what you need to do is you need to put an exclamation mark, and you need to write important like that, and then you need to close it with a semicolon. Okay, that's a semicolon, not a colon. And once you've done that and you click update, what will happen once I save the page and I go back into incognito like this, and I refresh this page, straight away our logo size has changed. So there's a ton of things you can do with CSS, but that is one of them to show you. Now one of the students asked, one of the Facebook instructors asked on the Facebook group, how can you hide an element? Because he had a message come up and he wanted it hidden. So I'm going to show you now using CSS how we can hide it, okay? So we're going to come back to our incognito window, and we're going to right hand click on this and go to inspect. So where we've got this code, you're going to see this code. Do you see this code? This is the new code we just put in. Okay, notice the old code has been actually lined out because this is overriding it now. So if I go in here and I type another CSS command, visibility, And then in here I have my colon, and then I put hidden, it will disappear. And then of course I will put important at the end. So let's tick that. So you can see it's hidden, but notice the height has changed. So if I want to change that height, I go in here and I put that at 0. So now I've hidden my logo. So let's go and put that into the page. So I'll take that, copy it, come back to my page here, come back to the page settings, inside here, Control V, make sure I put important at the end, copy, delete the semicolon, paste that in, make sure it's ending on a semicolon, click update, and that's done. Now I've hidden that with CSS. So if I refresh this page now, pressing the control, you're going to see that that has disappeared. Oh, need to save it. Okay, and there you go, disappeared. So CSS, very powerful. You can override per page. Each page has got that area where you can put the header and the CSS in there. So hopefully it's helped you guys. Be very careful because CSS can be very dangerous if you're using it in the wrong way. You can do lots of different things. You need to just Google about CSS and you'll see that it opens up a whole new plethora of possibilities for you to design your amazing Zenler website.